Oh. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Earlier today, I was speaking to someone about how so many of us don't take our health seriously until there's a certain shock in life that forces us to be more vigilant about going to the gym or eating right. In fact, I know people who are waiting for that shock to come into their life before they become serious, before their family becomes serious about their well-being. This is not new. The human mind is the human mind. It's always been this way. It will always be this way. And this is beautifully shown in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in the middle of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Think of Prince Arjuna and Bhagavan Krishna. Bhagavan Krishna is Prince Arjuna's cousin. Prince Arjuna is Bhagavan Krishna's cousin. And Prince Arjuna treated him like a cousin his whole life. In the beginning of chapter 2, he calls Lord Krishna his guru. He says, I'm your disciple. But he still only believes him. He doesn't have faith in him. He doesn't have trust in him. Then if you fast forward to near the middle of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna is becoming more of a believer, he's having more faith in Lord Krishna. He asks Lord Krishna to show who he really is, to show his infinite form. And Lord Krishna does. And when Prince Arjuna sees Lord Krishna, he sees all of birth and preservation and destruction. All of this is manifesting in one being. And there's a certain word that Prince Arjuna uses when he observes this divinity of Lord Krishna. That word is sthane. S-T-H-A-N-E. With sthane, what Lord Krishna is being described as the one who knows all, the one who knows what is best. And Prince Arjuna is sharing that all that has happened, all that is happening, all that will happen, you know all, you know what is best. Sthane. One of the most powerful words in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This word is that which causes liberation, really, if one can truly understand and appreciate the depth of sthane. At a micro level, if we think about our lives and our relationship with self-development, how many years ago we were exposed to self-development, but we never took it seriously? And I'm just going to pause here because you're frozen or I'm frozen. Can you hear me? Yes? No? Okay. I think my connection is slow. I'm going to move, so just bear with me for 15 seconds. You'll get a dark tour of where I live. So I'm just going to do the class over here. Is everything clearer now? Okay. Sorry about that. I'll continue. If you think about our relationship with self-development, we have been... Are you sure you can hear me? You all seem to be frozen. Okay, fine. We've all been exposed to self-development for many, many, many years. For some of the older people, you may have been exposed to self-development decades ago. Why is it right now, in this year, in this place, that you've taken up self-development? It's because of that philosophy of stane. We were all supposed to take up self-development when we were supposed to take up self-development. Not a year or a month or a week or a day too early, nor too late. And if you take this back to a macro level, all of history, all of life is flowing in the way that it's supposed to. Many people use negative words, many people use violent words, many people say, back in the day, those are the good old days, and now we're in the rough days where there's more distraction and more unhappiness, and on and on and on. All is the way all is supposed to be. Stane. And some of this flow is facilitated by those who protect us. And I don't mean physically, I mean those who protect us in an inner sense. And those who protect us in an inner sense, we call them gurus. We call them guides. Sanatana Dharma means unchanging responsibility. Sanatana, that which never changes. Dharma is responsibility. Now, everyone in this course right now, everyone in this class, we have various changing responsibilities. Those who are married have very different responsibilities than those who are not married. Those who have student loans have very different responsibilities than those who don't have student loans. We all have different changing responsibilities, but the vision of the one unchanging responsibility is to be, and all of you should yell this out in unison, to be independently joyous. Why we engage in our responsibilities? To be independently joyous. This is what Sanatana Dharma is. And that's why I'm bothered when people share Sanatana Dharma is a religion that is to be compared. This is not a religion that is to be compared. Sanatana Dharma is a vision. Sanatana Dharma is a purpose. Sanatana Dharma is life. And to be independently joyous is most demanding. If I asked all of you, why are you happy? Most would say we're not happy. But even if you are happy by accident, and I asked why, there will be so many reasons for that happiness. The weather is nice. Today, traffic was smooth. I got a promotion, whatever it may be. But to be independently joyous, that's not a casual affair. It doesn't just happen. This demands us to be the best, our best. And in being our best, we're rewarded with the best also, that independent joy. This is what Sanatana Dharma is. And my question for all of you is, are you experiencing that joy? Today, it's near the end of the day. We have people who are an hour and a half ahead of us right now in this class. We have people who are behind Eastern time zones. Are you joyous? Did you feel more independent today? Most of us are moving, but we don't know the meaning of our movement. And this is the reason why there's so much fear. We're afraid of each moment passing without us being more independent. We're afraid of each relationship passing without there being more joy. And this fear is not shrinking, this fear is growing. If anyone listened to the political speeches that are happening right now, there's more and more and more fear than we've experienced. So much fear. And this is destructive. And I don't mean destructive only in an outward sense. I mean destructive in an inner sense. When you and I are afraid, we fail. Our health fails, our relationships fail, our decision-making fails. If you and I want to go from fear to fearless, and that's what we do want, someone who's independently joyous, that person is fearless. What can be added? What can be taken away? Nothing. For someone who's independently joyous, they are fearless. There's only one way to start to being fearless, and that is to see those who are fearless. The way that Puja Swami Tejomayananda presents this, he asked all of us when we were studying in the Vedanta course, how do you become a bhakta? How do you become a devotee? And his simple response to this was, by living with bhaktas, by living with devotees. Now think of it practically. If you and I moved to Los Angeles, if you and I moved to Miami, we would be much more outdoorsy than we are now. If you look around at the people in Los Angeles and Miami, it's sunny there all the time. So people are rollerblading and people are biking and walking and so on and so forth. The further north you go, I feel that the smaller percentages of people who become outdoorsy, especially if you're a person of Indian origin, then that ratio is even smaller then. So if you live in Los Angeles, you tend to be athletic. If you live with devotees, you tend to become devoted. You and I have to see those who are courageous. I'm changing the word from fearless to courageous, and I'll explain why. We will study this more, but someone who's tamasic, who has a lot of darkness in their personality, someone who's tamasic is someone who's filled with fear. They're fearful. More evolved than this is someone who's rajasic. A rajasic person is daring. They're the people who are into adventure sports like bungee jumping and skydiving and all of that. A lot of rajas. They're daring personalities. Higher than that, more evolved than that, is a sattvic person. A sattvic person is one who is courageous. A courageous person knows that there are challenges, but still tries. There are challenges, but that doesn't stop them. And the most evolved person in regards to fearful, fearless, is the one who is fearless. They're past sattva. They're past that calmness in their personality also. There is no challenge. There is only oneness. Now think, what do you fear? You fear that which is different. You do not fear yourself. You fear that which is different. In oneness, there's nothing that is different. In two-ness, in multiplicity, there's lots that is different. Skin color, background, stage of life. So there's fear that comes with that. But in oneness, there's not. That's fearlessness. And so I'm about to introduce the hero of our Shastra, the hero of our story. But I need you to understand where I'm taking this introduction. Okay? You and I are involved in self-development here and now because we're supposed to. No regrets that I didn't start this 5 years ago or I didn't understand this last week. I've met hundreds of people who said they've met Pujya Swami Chinmayananda in Bharat, but now they're involved in Chinmaya Mission. Right? I've met hundreds of people who said they've learned more about their culture, more about their religion living in America, living in Canada, than they did living in Bharat. That's sthane. All is the way it's supposed to be. In this sthane, when it comes to self-development, we are here and we should appreciate that. And at a macro level, this flow towards independent joy, this is being guided by people who are great, by people who are courageous. And one such great person, one such courageous person is our Acharya Shankara. I've been speaking a lot about Acharya Shankara of late. I've been teaching Sadhana Panchakam, Nirvana Shatakam. Who is this Acharya Shankara? We start with Shankara. What does Shankara mean? And the typical answer is Shiva. What does Shiva mean? Hara. And we keep using reference points to define other reference points. Shankara means Sham Karoti, the one who is egoless, the one who inspires egolessness. And so much of this has come from the source of his birth. His parents were great. His parents didn't want to have an ordinary child. His parents wanted an extraordinary child. One who would only live till 16 years old, and that was fine with them, because that would be more worthwhile than an ordinary child who would live to 100. So truly, he was of the nature of egolessness. And he became an Acharya. Acharya means one who leads by example. He was someone who led by example in a most comprehensive way. When it came to rituals, he knew rituals, he taught pujaris. When it came to giving advice to people who are married, to those who are royal, he tuned into them and he acted accordingly. When it came to administration, he's the one who set up the 4 quarters of Bharat for various traditions, sampradayas, to continue their teaching, continue their work. He was a hero in a most comprehensive way. And coming to the Shastra on hand, and every week that we meet, I will share more insights into Shankara, more insights into Acharya. One day, Acharya Shankara and his disciples are traveling through Varanasi, which we know as Banaras, but we should know it as Varanasi. That's the original name. Or Kashi, the city of light. And for those who have been to Varanasi, it's a very tight place. For those who have traveled in Europe, the alleys are very small, the houses are very small, the cars are very small. When you're walking on the sidewalk, you always feel like someone's about to hit you with a car because everything is so tight. So Varanasi is like that, very tight. And he and his disciples are traveling through the city. And they hear these, in the distance, these Sanskrit grammar rules. How many of you have ever studied Sanskrit before, by a show of hands? Okay. So you would appreciate this more. You know those Sanskrit grammar rules, ti, taha, anti, and you just keep on going through it again and again and again and again. And it's just like going from being a human to a zombie, sort of. So Acharya Shankara is hearing this ti, taha, anti. He's hearing these repetitions of grammar. And when someone who's studied Sanskrit before hears this, they're actually pretty interested in this. It's inspiring to hear people taking this seriously. You know, like if you love cooking and you hear two people talking about a recipe, you want to hear what that conversation is about. You go in and say, no, 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 you have to put more of this in or less of this in. So he's inspired. He moves closer towards where these grammar rules are happening. And when he peeks into this house, he's expecting to see young students, young boys and girls who are just learning Sanskrit. But who does he see in there? This old man. And this man is so old that Acharya Shankara feels like he may die in his presence. And for those of you who have the new copy of Bhaja Govindam, you'll see that old man on the cover of your book. In the cover of your book, he's standing on his head, you know, hoping that if more blood goes to his head, that he'll memorize these grammar rules more. You know, if that were the case, then we should write our exam. If that were the case, we should do our class like that too, correct? Watch, I'll do this very quickly. But that doesn't mean anything, right? Just memorizing without meaning doesn't mean anything, and changing one's body position so that there's more blood in the head, that will just make us pass out. It won't make us learn more. So when Acharya Shankara sees this person chanting these grammar rules, he's so mad. You know, like when you see someone who litters in a very beautiful place, you just get angry at that. When you see people who are careless with, parenting as an example, giving kids junk food, you get angry at that. And you get angry because you care. If you didn't care, why would you get angry? That doesn't justify every time we're angry we care, okay? Take it in the right context. He cares. And though this old man didn't ask him for advice, Acharya Shankara gives him advice because he's an Acharya. He's one who leads by example. He's one whose heart isn't just focused on himself or a family or a community, but all of humanity. This person's a stranger to him. And he knows whatever he shares is not just for that old man, but all of his disciples that are with him. There's 14 of them. All of his disciples that are in this course right now. There's 150 of us. All of us. Acharya Shankara releases Moha Mudgara. Moha means delusion. Moha means meaninglessness. Moha means fear. And Mudgara means hammer. A hammer to meaninglessness. A hammer to fear. And he shares these various insights on bringing meaning into one's life. Soon we'll be starting our Vedanta and Ramayana course, and I'm very happy that many of our centers have signed up for that. Do you know why Goswami Tulsidashi wrote Ramayana? Because he studied his own life, and he compared his own life to a dried up leaf that is being blown around by the wind. Have you ever felt that? That your life is just this dried up leaf that just keeps moving from that corner to this home, to this driveway, to this tree. And many of us may think, whoa, what did we sign up for? This is so pessimistic. Remember I said, our minds work in such a way that we wake up with shocks. When Prince Siddhartha saw that old man, when Prince Siddhartha saw that sick man, when Prince Siddhartha saw that dead man, when Prince Siddhartha saw that illuminous man, the point is not man, okay, being. That was a shock in his life, and He became Buddha, the awakened one. Acharya Shankara wants us to wake up. And next week when we meet, I'm going to tell you about 3 types of people who sleep. And I don't mean physiological sleep, I don't mean biological sleep, but philosophical sleep. Because the type of sleep that we're in will determine whether we can wake up or not, isn't it? Taking this further, if you go to death, the type of death that we experience will determine whether we can come back or not, whether we're remembered or not. So Acharya Shankara releases this Moha Mudgara, telling this old man, why are you chanting Sanskrit grammar rules? Is this going to save you from death? And this death is not just biological. This death is meaninglessness. And that old man doesn't have a response. This is an eternal dialogue that is happening inside of ourselves. And out of love, this Moha Mudgara also came to be known as Bhaja Govindam. Govinda we've heard some definitions of. I'll explain more over time. And Bhaja we're going to dissect so thoroughly that this will be the only purpose of our life, is Bhaja Govindam. This Shastra, this science, is not just about vision. This Shastra is also about lifestyle. These Sanskrit grammar rules don't just mean people who are studying Sanskrit. It means people who are in school, why are you in school? People who are working, why are you working? People who are in families, why are you in families? People who are breathing, why are you breathing? People who are sleeping, why are you sleeping? Why? This science is about vision and then to adapt our lifestyle accordingly. You'll see right in the beginning, Acharya Shankara takes up people who live for position, people who live for possession, people who live for pleasure, and he'll say why. He'll say life is like a drop of water on the end of a flower where the wind is blowing. Will that last? This is an introduction into our lives. This is an introduction into our text, our hero, an introduction into our science, an introduction into our course. Oh.